All right, Campoholics, we're at Scott's Campground. We're getting ready to load up in an Uber with the Spillers. There's Melissa Spiller right there. She's looking like polar bear. And Tom Spiller. Tom and I met a couple years ago. Just like me, Tom's retired law enforcement. We both have a wife named Melissa. We both have a painted toy hauler. We both have a smart car. What else do we have in common? Smart car, Melissa, painted RV.
Both in the law enforcement.
Yeah, we're both law enforcement, and we both love the Philadelphia Phillies now. So we're getting in this Uber, Lyft, and we're going to the falls.
I got one more gentleman coming. Put Tom in the front, I guess.
Yeah, put Tom in the front.
Ready? Tom's getting in the front.
There's Tom.
Yes. Come in. I get in the middle. I get in the middle. Same concept. Yes.
Horn blower.
I think that's what it said. Horn blower.
That's what it's called.
The horn blower boat ride tour. Okay.
And we're doing the journey behind the something.
Journey behind the falls. Gas is only $1.34 a gallon here.
No, not a gallon.
Yep. Tom, you all right up there, buddy?
I'm good. I'm in.
Yeah.
He's real close to that airbag.
Yeah, I can feel this car off me.
Okay.
Shoot.
In the ride, dude.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, buddy. Here.
What am I doing?
Got my
It's not.
Duluth.
Wait.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got my Duluth coveralls on, my fishing coveralls on, got my fishing coat on. I'm ready to go, buddy. Ready to go. Here it is. What's today? May 21st, and it's 46 degrees this morning. It's raining. It's miserable here in Niagara, but we're still going to take a boat ride and enjoy the falls. Here it is, Niagara Falls. That's the Buffalo side. Gonna get wet. Ain't no doubt about it. Gonna get wet. Woo! It's a drop.
For everybody to start out, first of all, I want to welcome everybody to Niagara Falls. Thank you for joining us on Walk's Complete Niagara Falls Tour. My name is Kevin. I'll be your tour guide today. A little bit about me before we begin. I'm a resident of the city of Niagara Falls. I live here pretty much my whole life. I live in a neighborhood called Stamford, about 10 minutes from here, with my dog Zoe and my cat Boo, which I do have pictures of. There's Zoe. This is an excuse for me to show them. That's Zoe, my dog, and then that's Boo, my cat. Anybody ever taken a Walks tour before? First time? Okay. So they are, at least they started out as a very small company in Rome, Italy, started by 2 tour guides whose philosophy is that walking is the best way to experience travel, and that resonates deeply with me because all my favorite adventures have always been on foot. I just feel like it's the best way to get all of the nuance of the place that you're visiting, and Niagara Falls is chock full of nuance, and I can't wait to share it all with you. This, plus you can see the creek.
Me too.
Okay, everybody, the main event, Niagara Falls. If you didn't know, Niagara Falls is actually 3 waterfalls, as we can clearly see right here. The one directly across from us, we could just call the American Falls. As you might have guessed, that lies on the American side of the border, which runs down the center of the river and then takes a sharp left right before the last waterfall there. That's the Canadian waterfall, the Horseshoe Falls. That's the pride of Canada. And then there's one other waterfall that gets its own name, despite it being comparatively very small, smaller than the other waterfalls. It's the Bridal Veil Falls, the one directly across behind that lamppost. They call it Bridal Veil because it looks a little bit like Bridal Veil. The dimensions of the waterfalls. The American Falls are 1,075 feet across the crest line. The Bridal Veil is 56 feet across, and the Horseshoe Falls are 2,200 feet across. And the height is roughly 180 to 200 feet high, depending on where you're measuring. But that's not what makes Niagara Falls famous. A lot of people think that they're the tallest, perhaps the widest. Not even close. There are 500 waterfalls taller or wider than Niagara Falls. Does anybody know what we're famous for, though? Because there is something we are the most of. Any idea? I'll tell you.
Barrel rides.
What's that?
Barrel rides.
We are famous for that, and I'm going to tell you about that a bit later.
Okay.
But no, it's actually the water. The volume of water. More water flows over the crest of Niagara Falls than any other waterfall on the planet. In fact, over the American Falls alone, 75,000 gallons per second are flowing over the falls. And it sounds like a lot until you realize it's only 10% of the total water flow. When you add them all together, 750,000 gallons a second. You can fill 1 million bathtubs in under a minute with that much water. And it's so much water that over the course of the last 12,000 years, the water erosion has been eating away at the rock face, pushing it back and back and back through the gorge from its original location, which was, get this, 7 miles down the river. So if you picture it, over the course of 12,000 years, the water has just eaten it all the way back to where you see it right now. And in 1950, geologists were getting very concerned that we were going to lose the waterfalls altogether, that they were just going to erode past us down the Niagara River all the way to Fort Erie. And we cannot lose these waterfalls. What would the city of Niagara Falls be without Niagara Falls? So they had to fix it, right? They had to do some creative problem solving. And what they came up with was a genius little feat of engineering called the Water Diversion Treaty of 1950. So what happens now at about 8 o'clock every night when their tourists have gone to bed, they divert 50% of the water to underwater tunnels, which you can sort of see one of them poking out of the water by that big building over there. See that little like circular thing sort of halfway out of the water? That's one of the tubes, and it goes under the city all the way to our power plants down the river, Sir Adam Beck 1 and 2, and they're able to generate hydroelectric power for 3.8 million homes with that water, which by itself is pretty amazing. But when you add to that they were able to solve the erosion problem, well, that is just incredible. The water is coming from Lake Erie all the way down Niagara River, over the falls, down the strait, which is this part of the river, all the way to Lake Ontario. The bedrock is comprised primarily of limestone and soft shale, and the limestone is the reason why the water has that iconic green color when you're looking at it coming over the waterfall. In just a moment, we're gonna head in under the sails there, all the way down the ramps to the elevators. If we get separated into 2 elevators, don't worry. If you get down there before my group, just wait there. Don't go running out of the tunnel. Wait for us to come down. We're gonna exit together. Awesome. So when we're coming out from the Horseshoe Falls and we're making our way back, the front becomes the back, and I'll be at the back of the boat. If you want to get one of the best pictures that you can ever get in Niagara Falls, meet me down there. I'll take a photo. You have the whole U of the horseshoe behind you. It's really cool, but that's optional as well.
Even though it's really steamy looking, can you see the falls?
It might be a bit obscured, but when we're up close, you might be surprised how much more visibility, but we'll have to see.
It is what it is.
All right, everybody, follow me.
That's the American side over there. Made in America.
You're gonna get wet now. Oh yeah.
Is your camera all waterproof?
Supposed to be.
Just not dump proof?
Yep. Can't even see. Woo! 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 I can't see. Can't see. Okay, I've seen enough to know I've seen enough. You right there, Tom?
I'm good, I'm good.
You really can't see anything. It's so foggy from the sea mist. But this boat's supposed to turn around and put this butt end into the horseshoe. Holy cow, look at it. Look at that. Wow. There's some of it. That's the Canada side, Canadian side right there. That's the horseshoe. We're in the horseshoe now. Woo! The sea mist is absolutely crazy. Look at the turbulence of the water here. I mean, you may think we're in the Barren Sea. Oh boy! Wow. We're going to spin around here. Woo! Mess of horsepower to spin this thing around in here. And you really can't see anything. So we're in the horseshoe of it. There's the American Falls and this Canadian Falls. We're still in the horseshoe area. But the velocity of the water is crazy. There we go. This is a better shot. We got some sea mist out of the way. And you can see some rock there. People up top there. And
I like to enjoy the view with myself. I'm glad that I have my wife to take a picture.
woo! I'm sure on a nice sunny day it'd be a heck of a lot better viewing. But hey man, we're here. We're in the Niagara Falls. The largest volume of water of any falls in the world. I think that's what he said anyway. Wow.
Hi.
That was wet.
We need hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Or Irish coffee.
Yeah, Irish coffee. Yeah, that'd be
Oh
good.
man, Irish coffee would be good.
Okay, excuse me guys. I need you guys to come back a little bit, please.
He just yelled at me.
Yes, he did.
That dude just yelled at me, Tom.
About this, we got to go back in time to the year 1859, June 30th, 1859 to be exact, when a famous French acrobat came here to the falls. His name was Jean-Francois Gravelet, and you could just call him the Great Blondine, which is his stage name. So he came here and decided to be the first person to cross over the Niagara Gorge by a tightrope. And I like having the zip line behind here because you can imagine him walking across it. The first time he did it, 25,000 people came to see the stunt, and there he is on the rope doing what I call the vanilla version of the stunt. and you'll see why I call it that in a second. Now, he would never wear a harness or have a net underneath him. He was on record as saying that if you prepare for disaster, you're inviting disaster, which is flawed logic, but it was 1859, logic hadn't been invented yet, so, so he would do this, and in order to keep crowds coming back, you can't do the same tightrope walk twice. You have to keep changing it, making it more interesting, and as we'll see, more dangerous, because that's what brings crowds, right? So in his case, how do you make it more dangerous? I'll tell you, he did it blindfolded, and then by bicycle. And then there was one occasion where he got to the center of the rope and took out a little camping stove and cooked and ate an omelet.
What?
Bizarre, but my favorite of his alternate crossings you can see in this photograph here. And what's going on there? What is this? Exactly. We call this a piggyback ride. And now you're probably wondering, who would do this? That's a very valid question. Well, this is his manager, and the reason the manager is doing it is because he wanted somebody from the public to do it, and obviously nobody took him up on that. And the show must go on, so a manager steps up to do it. Amazing. Now, while this is happening, you know that expression, "Don't try this at home"? That didn't exist yet either. And so we had a whole bunch of people in the audience getting bright ideas watching the Great Blondine do this. And one guy was somebody named William Hunt, and he was a young acrobat, and he was inspired by this. And so he came up with his own version, and we can see him here with, well, what is this that you see on his back? It's hard to guess because it's an old version of what we have now as a modern convenience. It is a washing machine.
Oh, really?
Nailed it. Yeah, it's an old-timey washing machine.
Nailed it.
Yep. And now I know this raises more questions than it answers, so let me elucidate. He gets to the center of the rope, and the boat is passing underneath, and he passes the basket down via another rope to the passengers, who all put their handkerchiefs inside, and then he lowers it a bit further to the Niagara River for some water, and pulls it up, and washes everybody's laundry, and passes it back down to great applause. Bizarre, right? But also kind of hilarious. A couple years later, the first woman to make the crossing, her name is Marie Spelterini. Here she is doing her version with peach baskets on her feet, a nod to the fruit and produce industry here in Niagara Falls, or in the Niagara region, I should say. There she is. Now, all this is to say that there's a long history of it, but then at a certain point, so many people are dying in the river that it just became untenable. Niagara Parks Commission had to say, no more of this. Now there's a big fine if you get caught doing anything like this. And there was one particular death that triggered this ban, and I'm going to tell you about that a bit later. Just a little bit of clickbait for you until then. But there was a period of about 100 years where nobody was allowed to do anything like this. And then in 1995, a guy named Jay Cochran wanted to revive the lost art of tightrope walking, and he wanted to do it over the Horseshoe Falls from end to end. And the Niagara Parks Commission said, no, absolutely not. And so after some back and forth, they let him do it over land from the Skyline Tower, which is that the tower you see poking out under there. We'll see it on our way. From the observation deck of that to the Hilton Casino, the roof of the Hilton over there. And he did that every day for 10 years, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day. That was his thing for 10 years. People would pay admission to watch him do it in the Skyline Tower, and he donated all the proceeds to a local charity here in Niagara called Boys and Girls Club of Niagara. And in 2012, he died, sadly, of pancreatic cancer. And in that same year, Niagara Parks granted permission to another acrobat, a guy named Nick Wallenda, who, let's see, this guy, Nick Wallenda, famous acrobat with the Flying Wallenda circus family, they actually granted him permission to do the tightrope walk that Jay Cochran wanted to do initially, over the falls. Why did they let him do it? I can't say, but you can see him doing it on YouTube if you type in Nick Wallenda Falls Walk. And there he is, on the falls, at nighttime no less. My favorite part of his little story is when he got to the Canadian side from the American side, who do you think was there to greet him?
Customs.
Customs, yeah, border security. And they were like, show us your passport and state your business. It's pretty hilarious, right? So that's a little bit of the tightrope walkers of Niagara Falls. I got other stunters for you a bit later, but I like to save those for last. So let's cover some ground, and I'm going to stop again midway down and tell you about the movies that have been filmed here, and it's going to be a little bit of a trivia. So warm up those juicy brains of yours. All right, we got to go back in time again, all the way to 1901, the turn of the century. Way back then, there was a retired school teacher. Her name was Annie Edson Taylor, And Annie, in her retirement, found herself financially on hard times, aka she was broke. She invested a bunch of money into a preacher who ran off with her money, leaving her destitute and desperate for a way to make extra money, and she had ambitions of fame in her eyes. And so what would she do in 1901 to do this? Well, she decided to be the first person to ever go over Horseshoe Falls in a wooden barrel. Now, how do you make money doing that? I'm glad you asked. It's all about the publicity, right? The newspapers come and take your picture, you tell your story, they'll pay you to do that, and then, you know, you got a career in front of you. Now I know what you're thinking. This is a bad idea. You're right to think that. Here she is at 63 years old with her barrel. 63. Not even like, no, not even like modern day, like healthy 63. This is hard living 1901, 63 years old. Now, don't worry, this is a custom barrel. She had a team of people help her to construct it, and as we can see in this diagram, no safety feature has been overlooked. She has straps for her shoulders and a cushion for her head, and well, that's about it. So yeah, safety is of the utmost concern, you know. Now, as they were getting closer to to the date of the stunt, her team is looking at that waterfall and rightly thinking, maybe we should, you know, excuse ourselves from this, wash our hands of it, because it's probably going to be her death, right? And only her manager, a guy named Frank Russell, keep his name in the back of your mind because he's going to be relevant again in a second, stuck around to help her see this out. And so now it's Frank and Annie, and it's 2 days away from the stunt, and now they themselves are getting nervous, obviously. And so they got to come up with a way to test the barrel to make sure that it's not going to be destroyed. And in order to tell you how they tested the barrel, I'm going to show you this beautiful colorized version of this photo, and you tell me what you see that's out of place. Cat. Exactly. Now put that together with what I just said about needing to test the barrel, and the conclusion that you come to is the correct one. Yes, they sent the barrel over the falls with the cat inside. Terrible, horrible thing to do to a cat, especially as a cat lover. I reject that. Now, do you think the cat survived? No. No? Yes? Oh yeah, it survived. Yeah. Cats have 9 lives, don't you know?
Yes.
Although I am told that it went in black and came out white, although I can't confirm that. So the cat survives. They figure cats and people are the same, so they're just gonna go for it on Annie's 63rd birthday. What a thing to do on your birthday, right? And so on her birthday, they put her in this boat here with the barrel in tow, and now they're going down the river. And eventually they put her inside and put the lid on, and they let her loose. And for almost a half an hour, she's bouncing and bobbing towards the precipice of the falls, with no way to see outside and no way to know when she's gonna fall. Just pure terror, I imagine. Damn! Eventually, she goes over the falls, and she floats to the embankment, they open it up, and what do they find? Is she alive or dead? Alive or dead?
She's alive.
She is alive. Perhaps more alive than she's ever been in her whole life. Although she was a bit shaken, she had a cut on her forehead, and when she came out, the newspapers asked her for her statement, and she said this, and I quote, "If it was my last breath, I would use it to caution anyone against going over the falls. I would sooner stand in front of a cannon knowing it would blow me to bits than for anyone to attempt the falls," which is great advice. Although nobody took her up on that advice, because just like with the tightrope walkers, now we got a trend. But before I tell you about that trend, you're all wondering, did she make her money? Right? It's the whole reason she was doing this. Unfortunately for Annie, she did not make that money or the fame. The reason is, remember her nice manager, Frank, that stuck around when everybody else bailed on her? He stole her barrel and took off and found a younger Annie to do all the press with, and all the pictures and all this, made all the money and the fame for themselves, and it left Annie alone to spend the rest of her life looking for the barrel to no avail. And she died penniless. A sad ending for her, but she does go down in history as the first to ever go over Horseshoe Falls in a barrel. The erosion of Niagara Falls and how we use water for electric power. Then we took the boat ride, which was amazing and totally wet. And after that, we made our way back up, and I told you about the tightrope walkers of Niagara Falls, as well as some of the movies that we filmed here. And after that, I told you about the eccentric individuals who went over the falls. And now here we are at Table Rock Visitor Center, right about to go down into Journey Behind the Falls. Thank you all so much for joining me on this tour. Sincerely, on behalf of myself and Walks, we're here at
Counter what?
What does that say?
Counterpart Brewing Company. We did this just for Melissa Spiller. So how was your day there, Melissa Spiller, at Niagara Falls?
It was fun. It was fun. It did turn out.
Yes.
In our tubes in Canada.
It's a good thing we had these on.
Right?
So are you thankful you did it?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was a good time. For
Yeah.
anybody that comes
Me?
to should.
Yeah.
That was fabulous.
How about you, Tom?
Amazing. Yeah, great.
We have on 2 layers of
It
pants.
wouldn't have been so bad if it hadn't already been raining. I think. We couldn't escape the water. The water is cold.
Been there, done it, checked it off. Niagara Falls.
Done.
Yep, done. Book yourself a stay at Scott's Campground.
Scott's RV campground.
Yeah.
RV campground.
Take the fence down.
Yeah.
Take your fence down and hook up your sewer for you.
Yep. Yeah, he was going to hook the sewer up for me. That was strange.
Because it's underneath the ridge.
It would.
Oh, that's what he said.
So they're full crews. They have to remove the fence to get you in.
Yep. They take down the fence and they get you in the pull through. We're just going to back out the same way we came in and roll from there. Scott's Campground, Niagara Falls, town, city. It's like $65 American money,
We think.
something like that. Yeah.
We don't really know.
All right, that's our day at Niagara Falls. We're rolling out tomorrow. See you next video. Bye. Beer.